In the spring of 2026, a social media post from the President of the United States issued a final ultimatum to Tehran. He demanded they open the F Strait, warning that all hell would rain down on the country within 48 hours. Public ultimatums of this nature often signal a point of exhaustion. When a superpower resorts to all-caps threats on social media, it suggests traditional tools of statecraft and military coercion are failing. The Pentagon paints an image of total control. In recent testimony, the Defense Secretary touted an overwhelming air campaign, claiming forces achieved air dominance after dropping 11,000 strikes in 5 weeks. Yet, the staggering scale of the bombardment has not achieved the primary objective. The United States is currently unable to break the operational capacity of an adversary it claims to have already defeated. The disconnect between the briefing room and the battlefield became clear when leaked U.S. intelligence assessments reached the New York Times, providing a far more sobering view of the conflict. This classified intelligence confirmed that Iran's missile capacity survived the initial waves of the campaign. Their mobile launch platforms remain fully operational, continuing to fire even as the Pentagon reported their destruction. While the American military searches for new viable targets, the shipping lanes in the Strait of Hormuz remain locked down, effectively paralyzed by a resistance that refuses to collapse. The American military machine has hit a wall of resistance it cannot bomb its way through, exposing a fatal gap between imperial hubris and the ground truth of the war. How does a military absorb 11,000 bombs and stay standing? Decades of labor carved expansive infrastructure directly into these mountains. After surface strikes, Iranian teams use dirt networks to rapidly excavate and reactivate mobile launchers. U.S. officials frequently point to periods of reduced missile fire as evidence of a capability collapse. In reality, this is a strategy of asset conservation. By rationing their fire, Iranian commanders maintain a credible deterrent that outlasts the initial American surge. Dropping multi-million-dollar munitions on empty rock while the enemy preserves its true strength represents a catastrophic tactical failure. By locking down the Strait of Hormuz, the only sea passage from the Persian Gulf, Iran successfully blocked global oil trade. Consequently, tanker traffic collapsed and global oil prices spiked, threatening a severe inflationary shock. To counter the blockade, Washington attempted to form an international naval coalition to reopen the waterway. The effort failed. European and Asian partners refused, choosing diplomacy over a wider war. By controlling a single geographic choke point, Iran has paralyzed American economic leverage and fractured its core international alliances. As the stalemate continues, U.S. threats shifted towards civilian infrastructure. The president publicly considered destroying Iran's desalination plants, facilities coastal communities rely on for survival. Legal experts warn such an order directly violates Article 54 of the Geneva Conventions, which prohibits attacks on installations indispensable to the civilian population, like drinking water. This creates a crisis within the military, since personnel are legally bound to refuse unlawful orders. Targeting these plants threatens to break the chain of command from the top down. When a superpower resorts to threatening civilian drinking water, it is the ultimate proof that their conventional military strategy against actual combatants has collapsed. While the U.S. focused on hierarchical targets, Iran reorganized the axis of resistance into a decentralized fluid network that can absorb localized damage without breaking. This network sustains itself through gray zone economies, cryptocurrency, and strategic integration with technological infrastructure supported by Russia and China. These proxy groups have evolved into a flat confederation that shares intelligence and resources independently, making the network too decentralized to be destroyed by conventional military force. This networked architecture has rendered the American doctrine of punitive bombing campaigns entirely obsolete. The doctrine of maximum pressure has reached its end. Years of crippling sanctions and weeks of direct war have failed to force a surrender. By outlasting the United States, Iran has accelerated the rise of a multipolar order, where the Global South acts as the architect of alternative global arrangements, operating outside Western control. This broader shift frames the president's frantic ultimatums in a new light. These presidential tantrums are simply the sound of an empire reaching its limits, unable to break the dignity or the structural resilience of an ascendant resistance.